In this session, we'll be seeing about the functions like functions of related to sum, which is sum and average, sum if and sum IFS, sum product, and D sum. Okay. So here, if you're having hearing any background noise, please do ignore it. So we'll go on into the session right now. Okay. So first function is actually sum. Okay. So how will you why sum is needed? Why sum function is needed? We can just add it. So let us say I'm going to add two numbers alone. So I'll be selecting equal to a cell and plus this cell. I'll be getting the answer. So when it's two or three numbers, it's quite easy. Like using equal to function plus sign, we can just calculate it. But when there are humorous or many numbers, how will we calculate it? So for that, the sum function was formed. For that, you are going to select equal to sum of tab. So you'll be getting number one, number two. What you're going to do is you're going to select the range which you wanted. Here I'm going to find the total marks, which is out of 400 of 7 students I have. So each one I'm going to find the total. So just click, or you can just close the bracket and click enter. So that's all, you'll be getting the sum of your marks. Okay. So now just so it is again a shortcut, just select the cell. So if you go to the corner, so you'll be selecting, you'll have a plus sign, just double click it. Okay. So automatically the all the cells will be get filled. Okay. So you can just select and see the formula. So whether it is being selected properly also. Okay. Now additionally, if you wanted to find average, so this function alone will be seeing extra. So you're going to type equal to average of A, V, E, R, A, G. So average of, so you're going to select this entire which cell or you wanted to find the average. So equal to average of, now close the bracket, then just select enter. Okay. So in the form of percentage itself, you get the average here. So you no need to use the formula like equal to total divided by number of subjects. You no need to give there anything. You can just use the function and go. Okay. Next, what we'll be seeing is sum if and some IFS function. So why these functions are used? So if I wanted to find the sum of few things, I have to when there is a criteria based there, then you use this SUMIF function. Okay. So in SUMIF function, let us say here the example here I'm giving, this is a barber shop or a stylist shop. So they have the data for May 2023. So they have the date and the service what they are being providing here. So the service name what they are giving and the stylist name and the payment mode which is being done and the price range is also being provided here. So you have a lot of data here if you just scroll down and see. So now let us say I wanted to find the total price. Okay, the total price of shaving only alone, shaving alone, I have to find the total price. So in this place, you'll be using some if condition. Okay, so let me zoom on to the cell. So we'll start working. So how some if condition works. So as we have seen earlier in the if and the IFS function. So if you have not seen it, just go and see to it. So if means or sum if means you'll be finding the sum of one condition alone. Okay, but sum of one condition alone. But when you're going to use some IFS, when it is being used is, then you're going to find the sum of more than more than one condition. So this is where you'll be using your some IFS function. Okay, this is how this function works. So now let us move on to the problem. So I'm going to find the shaving and its total price. I'm going to find the shaving, total price of shaving which is being done. So what is the formula is type equal to sum if, okay, sum if of. Now they have asked you to select the range which you wanted to select it. So here the range denotes your shaving range. Okay, so which range or the criteria which you are going to use. So you can see it in the formula itself: range, criteria, then sum range. Sum range is nothing but your total price, range is your shaving range or your criteria's range, and then you have to select your criteria. So range which I'm going to select is this service area I have to select. Okay, so wherever it comes shaving, it has to calculate its price. So what I'm going to select for the range is, so you're going to select this shaving here, this cell. So again, that is a shortcut. What you're going to do is you're going to select control shift and down key. Okay, so your entire range gets selected. Okay, so control shift and down. So if you go to the top and see, your range, entire range gets selected. So here one more thing what we have to do is we have to lock all the cells. Okay, otherwise when it goes on to the next cell for select searching, it will come down. Or because we have a few other problems, if you see washing and combing we have to select, at that time few cells, the next cell will get removed. So if you don't know how to do the referencing here for absolute referencing or mixed referencing, there is again a session on it. You can go on and see it. Okay, so just select it and press F4. Okay, all your cells get selected. Now comma, I have to select my criteria. So my criteria is nothing but shaving. So if you're not giving like this, you can give it within the quotes. Okay, shaving, you can give it within the quotes, comma, my sum range, what I wanted to add. So I want to add the total price. So total price, so each price is given here. Select it here, then give control shift and down. Okay, so if you see it here, your entire uh, price range gets selected. Again, we are going to reference the function here. Okay, F4, I'm going to select it, absolute referencing. Now close it. Okay, so I'm just going to give enter. So 717 is the price here. So here again, one more thing is you need not give this referencing here, but to make the work easier, if I'm just going to select it down, I'll be getting the prices of all. So here, if you see, automatically it takes only this criteria. Otherwise, I have to keep on working with each cell. I have to select A3 and I have to give each time formula. So this helps you to do the work easier. Okay. So now we'll be going to some IFS function. So SUMIF and some IFS has a little difference in the formula. So let us see what it is. So I'm just going to give equal to some IFS tab. So here what they are asking first itself is there, if you see, the sum range will be at the last. Okay, in SUMIF. But here in some IFS, you're going to first itself give this is my sum range. Okay, and then we'll be moving on to criteria. So that is the difference. Okay, so if you see in SUMIF, you'll be having uh, in SUMIF, you'll be having what your criteria, then your sum range. Sum range. Here it is just opposite. Your sum range, comma, your criteria. So you need not worry about just memorizing the formula, because usually Excel helps you in providing the formulas also. So now I'm going to find some IFS. So what is the condition which makes it makes me to use some IFSs. Here there are two conditions if you observe. Okay, so first thing is the persons who are doing shaving, I have to find the total price. Okay, then another criteria here is I have to find the total price of the people who are using only credit cards for payment. Okay, so this is another criteria. So two criteria are here. So one is shaving and another thing is credit card. So I'm going to use some IFS formula here, some IFS, then my sum range. So my sum range is obviously my price range. Select it, control shift down. So your entire cell gets selected, your range gets selected, then comma, then your criteria range. Okay, which is your first criteria? So here my first criteria is going to be shaving. You can just give credit card also, but here I'm just going to give shaving. So here my first criteria range is this range. Okay, control shift down and your entire range gets selected. Then again my criteria one, what is going to be my criteria one? Shaving. Okay, next is criteria range 2. What is my criteria range? My second criteria is obviously credit card. So I'm going to select my credit card range, where the here if you see in the payment mode you have cash and credit card. So I'm going to select this range. So control shift down and the range gets selected. Then I'm going to give credit card. So here I was having shaving, washing and combing separately, the words alone. So here in credit card I don't have that option. So what I'm going to do is within the codes I'm going to give credit card. So before that, just a warning to say, here you have to see what style of word, whether it's uppercase or lowercase or whether space is provided, you have to watch it. So here if you see in credit card, I'm not mentioned, nowhere caps is being mentioned here, okay, in the data set. So it is all small with a space in here, okay. So I'm just going to mention the same way, credit card, okay. Now just click enter. So that's all. So this is the total price which you'll be getting through your shaving. Okay. So now let us move on to next cell here. Let us say I'm going to drag it here. So I'll be obviously getting a value, but is it accurate? So let us see whether it's accurate or not. So if I'm going to just select this entire cell, go down and see. So the first cell will be ignored here. So obviously, so if I'm going to select it for these two cells, and if I'm going to select these three, obviously you can see the first three cells are ignored. So this is the problem where I told you you need to just select the referencing or use the referencing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the cells here, except the criteria. I'm going to lock or absolute reference the other cells. So just click enter. Now if you select so if you see here, obviously the values you're getting here are correct. How? Because is you can just verify it. Okay. So here now if you see the fourth cell, all the values are being selected. Okay. Here the values are same, but in somewhere when you're working with other data sets, it might not be the same. So it is better to use referencing. So we have two more conditions while working with some IFS. So let us say here the first condition is Jane or Jane, Martha, and Alex. They have been now here the stylist name is being provided, and you have to find the total price here. Okay, so this is the first condition which we are going to use here. Let us say equal to some IFS tab my sum range. Okay, I'm going to select this entire range. Then my criteria range, I'm going to select it here. Okay. So my criteria range is this cell. So my first criteria ranges with the name which contains the cell. Okay, so I'm going to select the stylus name, control shift down. So my entire cell gets selected. Then my first criteria, okay, which is my A9 cell. Okay, so I'm just going to give enter. Okay, so this is my cell. So here again, for a safer cause, I'm going to lock these cells. Okay, so just give enter. So don't lock this A9 cell, otherwise you'll get the same value, because when it moves on, I just want to, next thing is obviously automatically it will take, if you see A10 cell. Okay, so that's why I'm not locking the criteria here. So just give enter. So why did I use this function here, some IFSs? I just here wanted to check it. Okay, so I have only one criteria. Instead of going on for multiple functions, I'm just checking whether some IFS works for one condition also. So yes, obviously some IFS works even for one condition also. So you can use, instead of SUMIF, you can also use some IFS for checking one conditions. Now, my next condition is sum of price for shaving. So Jane does. So Jane is the stylist, and now we have to find the shaving cost. So next, shaving is my second condition. Okay, so here if you see, you have multiple conditions. You have the stylist name. Let us say Jane is one condition, then shaving is another condition. Then they have also given the date. Okay, between these two dates, we have to find the price. So let us take these. The dates are another condition. Okay, the dates are another condition. So you have multiple conditions here. So how we are going to work it out is some equal to sum IFS. Okay, now tab, I'm going to select my sum range. So obviously what I want here, the price. So control shift down, so select the entire price. Okay, now I'm going to give my criteria range one. So the first criteria range one is Jane, the stylist name. Control shift down. Then I'm going to select my what is my criteria? The stylist name, comma, the criteria range two. So I'm going to take my criteria range two as shaving or the service which is being done. Okay, so control shift down through your service. Next thing is your criteria. So here, obviously, it is shaving for all Jane, Martha, and Alex. So I'm going to give it within quotes. So here, if you see in the service, shaving S is captured. So SHAVING. Within quotes, I'm giving it. Now I'm just moving on to the third criteria. So here, obviously, there are two dates. Okay, one is 10/5/2023, and another thing is between these two dates. So you have to split this criteria into two criterias. So obviously, you'll be now having four criterias. That is greater than or equal to, then less than or equal to. This is the criteria which we are going to see. So my first criteria, the criteria range for the third thing is the date range. Okay, so this is how. So my criteria range three, comma. Now the main important point is the criteria. Okay, equal to, what I'm going to give is between these dates. So greater than or equal to 10/5/2023. Okay, so this is my third criteria, comma. So always remember here, as I've told you earlier, so here they have given 01-05-2023. That is the same thing, you have to produce it here. If they have given the date in the form of slashes, okay, 1/5/2023, here also obviously you have to mention the same. Okay, now let us move on to the criteria range 4. So range 4 is the ending date is 25 2023. So select again this range, control shift down. Okay, control shift down, then comma. My next criteria is it should be less than or equal to 25 2023. Okay, so now close the quotes and just give enter. So the price is 31. So when we have to move on to the next cells, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give absolute referencing. So F4, F4. So accept the criterias, okay, A9 shaving and this these things. I'm just going to log the other cells. Enter. Okay, so that's all. So all your sum of IFS function for Jane, who is doing shaving on between these two ranges of dates, have been founded. Okay, so this is how sum average and sum if and sum IFS, these two functions work. Okay, so in the next session we'll be seeing about sum product and the sum. Okay.